So let us start. Is my screen is visible to you or not? My screen is visible. Screen देखा जाउछ ना नहीं? तो सोई पड़ला से ना स्टार्टिंग रो क्लास स्टार्ट हो ना सोई पड़ला नहीं तिकलो.
हाँ सर देखा जाଉଛି
कहबो ना हाँ बोले केन जानिबे कि ऑनलाइन क्लास होचे त गला ऑन करी त सोई पड़ले कि कोन करना मु भी किछि जानिबेनी. खालटा चिल्ले कथा ठीक. हाँ ठीक अछि. तो हमें ଏବେ पढ़ेबा invariant subspaces and Cayley-Hamilton theorem. So let us start invariant subspaces. So what is invariant subspaces? Its definition. First I am saying its definition. Let T be any linear operator. Let T be any linear operator on a vector space V. A subspace W is called a subspace W is called a T invariant subspace is called a T invariant subspace of V if T of W, let it be capital W. Okay. If T of W is a subset of W, that means if you will calculate T of small w, then this thing must belongs to capital W, where small w belongs to capital W. That means you already know T. It is given that T is a linear operator on a vector space V. That means T is a mapping from V to V. Suppose this is your V and this is your V. And T is the linear operator. And what is invariant subspace? Invariant subspace. Suppose W is a or any W which is a subspace of V is said to be T invariant if under the mapping T what we will get here, suppose in W the elements are small w1, small w2, small w3 like this. So under the transformation T, these things are going T of w1, T of w2, T of w3. And these things are also lying in the same subspace W. If this thing happens, that means this theory of capital W is a subset of W, and here this W is a subspace of this domain, and what you got here T of W, and this thing is the subspace of your range or the codomain. So if the image of W under the transformation or under the operator T is a subset of W, then we will say that W is a T invariant subspace of V. That means if you will take small w belongs to capital W and the collection of its images or collection of its T images, if these things are lying also in W, then we will tell this W is a T invariant subspace of V. So if you will take some example, suppose T is a linear operator. Suppose T is a linear operator on vector space V, then the following subspace of T are T invariant. Then the following subspaces of T are T invariant So what are the following subspaces which will be T invariant? So these are a set containing zero vector or the whole vector space V, or in third our range of T, or in fourth the null space of T, or in fifth E lambda. E lambda means the eigenspace of eigenvalue lambda. So these things are T invariant. So how we will check? We can check it. Suppose it is given that T is a mapping from V to V. So I am saying that the set containing only zero vector, this is a T invariant subspace of V. So clearly this zero vector is a subspace of V. It is a subset of V. Also it is a subspace because it satisfying all the properties of vector space. So if you will take a transformation from this set or this subspace, since 0 is lying here, so what will be its transformation? And we know this transformation is a linear, so 0 element will go to 0. So this is 0 means only the set containing 0 vector. So which is your same W. If you are taking any element from W, suppose your W is the set containing 0 vector only, so the 0 vector is mapping to only 0 vector. That means here if you will take the elements of W, then if you will collect the image of this one, this thing is also W or this thing belongs to W. So a set containing 0 vector is a T invariant. Similarly, the whole vector space V is also T invariant, because if you are taking any element from this domain, if you will collect its image element, this thing is also lying in set V. So if the elements of V belongs to set V, and here this element is taken from set V, so we can set this V vector is a T invariant. So you got it? Because if here T invariant means what a subspace W is called T invariant if you will take any element of small w from capital W, then its image is also lying in capital W. If this thing satisfies for any subspace W, then W is said to be T invariant. So 0 is T invariant, set containing 0 element, then V is also T invariant, then range of T. Range of T means the image collection of all T images of V. Then since this is the range of T, the all collection of all image elements of T, then this will be also T invariant, because these elements are coming from V. If you will again take the image of these elements, then it also lies in this range of T. That's why range of T is also a T invariant. Similarly, null space of T is also T invariant. Similarly, you can check also this thing, the eigenspace of lambda. This is also T invariant. So this one, how you will see, this one is also a T invariant, because in the last class we already calculated. I will see the last class. So in my last class we already calculated some E lambdas. Now consider any transformation. Suppose I will consider which one. Suppose this one is a transformation. This example 6. T is a linear operator on P2 are defined by T of f of x is f of 1 plus f dash 0 into x plus f dash 0 plus f double dash 0 into x square. So this is a transformation. So suppose this transformation is given, then what is the A of lambda? Suppose consider we already calculated what is the corresponding matrix. This is the corresponding matrix. B is the corresponding matrix. This is 1 1 1 1 0 1 0 and 0 1 2. So if we will find its corresponding eigenspace, then we got that E of lambda 1 where it is A of lambda 1, these are A of lambda 1. A of lambda 1 is your element 1 0 0. This is one vector and another vector is 0 1 minus 1. I already calculated in last class. So if you will, and what we are studying in T invariant, and I am saying A of lambda 1, this is the eigenspace of a lambda 1. So this is this vector 1 0 0 and 0 1 minus 1, and I am saying this is T invariant. So T is given your what is your T of f of x given here. T of f of x is this is f of 1 plus f dash 0 into x plus f dash 0 plus f double dash 0 into x square. Now write down it. F of x is f of 1, sorry, the f of 1 plus f dash 0 into x plus f dash 0 into f double dash 0 into x square. So this is your transformation of f of x, and I am saying here E of lambda 1 is this one, and in T invariant subspace it is saying that E lambda is also a T invariant. So here E lambda is this one. So since I am considering the vector space B is your P2R, so what is the corresponding vector associated with this vector? Because we know here the basis elements are 1x x square. So the corresponding basis associated with this column or with this vector is 1, because this is 1 times 1 0 times x plus 0 times x square. So this is 1, and this one is your 0 times 1 1 times x plus minus 1 times x square. So this is your x minus x square. So in eigenspace of lambda 1 we are getting these two vectors. So if you will take its transformation, then what we will get? Our T invariant is saying, so if you will take its transformation, then it is also lying on that subspace where you have taken this set. Suppose this is your W. So if you will take the transformation of any element of W, then it will also lying in this W. Now test it. So what will be your transformation of 1? So your transformation of 1 will be, so in place of f of x you will put 1, then T of 1 is, if your f of x is 1, then f of 1 will be 1, and f dash 0 is, means f dash x is 0, f double dash x is also 0, So here f dash 0 will be 0, so 0 into x is 0. Similarly f dash 0, f double dash is 0, so this is 0 into x square, which will be 1. So transformation of 1 is also 1. Similarly, if you take transformation of x minus x square, transformation of x minus x square, so now your what will be your f of x and f of x square? Sorry. So your f of x is now x minus x square. So your f dash x is 1 minus 2x, and f double dash x is your minus 2. So if you will calculate what is the transformation of x minus x square, so transformation of x minus x square in place of f of x, we will put this. So f of 1 will be 1 minus 1 square, this is 0. Similarly, f dash 0 is your f dash x is 1 minus 2x, so f dash 0 will be 1. So this is 1 into x, this is 1 into x. Similarly, f dash 0 plus f double dash 0, so here f dash 0 is 1 and f double dash x is minus 2, so f double dash 0 is also minus 2, so this is 1 minus 2 into x square, because f dash 0 plus f double dash 0 into x square, so which is x, and 1 minus 2 is minus 1 x square. So t this one is also this one. So what we got here, if you will take w as your space of lambda 1 for any lambda 1, what we got in any transformation. So this is set containing 1 comma x minus x square. If you will take its transformation, this is x comma x minus x square, and transformation of 1 is 1, which is again w. So if you will take transformation of w, this is a subset of w. So eigenspace of any lambda is also a T invariant. What is saying here? Okay. So now come to another example. These are obvious things. Obvious things means these are general things. If T is any linear operator on V, then a set containing 0 is a T invariant, and the whole set V is also T invariant, and range of T, null space of T are also T invariant, and eigenspace of lambda is also a T invariant subspace of V, any vector space V. Now consider a particular example. Suppose T is a linear operator on R3. Let T is a linear operator on R3 is defined by T of A, B, C is equal to A plus B, B plus C, comma 0. So here T is a linear operator on R3, and the transformation is defined as T of A, B, C equal to A plus B, comma B plus C, comma 0. So now we'll check that the xy plane is a T invariant. This is a T invariant. Also x-axis is also a T invariant. So how we will check this? XY plane is T invariant. You know this XY plane, this is a subset of R3, because this is your R3 and this is your R2, and the equation of XY plane means your Z coordinate is 0, Z coordinate equal to 0. So if you will take any point, or if you take any element from xy plane and if you take its transformation. So first I will explain this one. So let any take any element of element from xy plane, let it be a comma b comma 0, that this thing belongs to xy plane. It is okay because its z coordinate is 0. So let x a comma b comma 0 belongs to xy plane be any element. So if you will take its transformation, so transformation of ab comma 0 will be, transformation of abc is defined in this way. So transformation of a comma b comma 0, where in place of c you will put 0. So this will be your a plus b comma b comma 0. So this thing is also again lying in xy plane. If you will take any element from xy plane which is a comma b comma 0, then if you will take its transformation, it is giving you this one, where the z coordinate is 0. So this thing lies in xy plane. So xy plane is a t invariant, since I have taken this a b comma 0 is any element from R, any element from xy. Similarly, x-axis is also t invariant. So how will show this? So similarly, take any element, let a comma 0 0 belongs to x-axis be arbitrary. This thing be arbitrary. So if this is any element from x-axis, so take its transformation t of a00, that means in place of b, in place of c we will put 0. So in place of b, in place of c, if we will put 0, then this will be your a comma 0 0. So this thing again lying in x-axis because its y coordinate and z coordinate are 0. Only x-axis is 0 or non-zero it may be, but y and z axis z coordinates are 0. So this thing must lies in x-axis. Thus x-axis is also a t invariant. Then come to another, okay, we will go to another example. Let us define another definition. What is t cyclic subspace of V? Now come to another example, another definition. Let T be a linear operator on a vector space V. Let T be a linear operator on a vector space V, and let small v belongs to capital V be arbitrary. This is a non-zero vector. Let small v, any non-zero small v belongs to capital V be arbitrary. Then the span of v comma t transformation of v comma transformation of v, which is t square v, then t cube v, then dot tn of v. This thing is also a subspace, let it be W, is called, this thing is called a t cyclic subspace of V generated by V, is called t cyclic subspace of V generated by small v. You know already the cyclic group. In cyclic group there is a generator. You already know this thing in your group theory. So in cyclic group there is a generator, and here the generator is your V. Then after applying T of V, then it is given another element, and again applying another T, then it will be T square V, then T cube V, similarly T and V, then continuously you will apply the transformation. Then this is called here T cyclic subspace of V. T cyclic subspace of this small v. If we will calculate any T invariant subspace of V containing this small v, then this is the smallest subspace. That means we can say, in fact, this capital W, which is your this one, construction is your this one. In fact, capital W is the smallest T invariant subspace of V containing small v. Okay, this is the smallest T invariant subspace of V containing V. What is this one? This is your T cyclic subspace of V, which is nothing but your span of small v, Tv, T square v, Tq v, Tn v, like this. So now consider one example for this T cyclic subspace. Example, let T be a linear operator on R3. Let T be a linear operator. T be a linear operator on R3. Let T be a linear operator on R3 is defined by T of ABC is equal to minus B plus C, A plus C, then 3C. So if any transformation is given on R3 like in this way, then find the T cyclic subspace of any element, like find the T cyclic subspace generated by E1, and here E1 is 1 0 0. This is any element from R3. So how we will find its cyclic subspace? We will continuously apply T on this element. Then what you are getting? Then again apply T. So your E1 is 1 0 0. Again if you will apply T on this one, then T of E1 means this is your T of 1 0 0. So T of ABC is this one, so T of 1 0 0 will be 0 1 0. This is nothing but your E2. Similarly, E1 is this one, T of E1 is this one. So then T square E1 means T of E1, and T of E1 is known to you. This is your 0 1 0. So now your T square of E1 is T of 0 1 0, and T of ABC is this one. So T of 0 1 0 will be minus 1 0 0, which is nothing but your minus E1, because your that means your minus of 1 0 0, that is your minus E1. Similarly, if you will find Tq of E1, that is your transformation of T square of E1, and your T square of E1 is this one. That means this is your, in place of T square E1, I will put this minus E1. This is minus E1, that means minus taking common, T of E1, and your T of E1 is E2, that means your minus E2 you will get. So what you are getting here, similarly if you will, whatever you will got here, these are the span of E1 and E2, because E1 is this one, then T of E1 is E2. Similarly, T square of E1 is minus E1, then Tq of E1 is minus E2. So whatever you will find, these are the span of E1, E2. So what I will write here now, the T cyclic subspace Thus the T-cyclic subspace of U1 is, which is your U1 T of U1 T square of U1 like this, which is your U1 U1, then U2, then your T square U1 is minus U1, then TQ U1 is your minus U2. So whatever you will get, these are the span of U1 and U2. So we can write this thing as span of U1 comma U2. Okay, or you can write, since the given vector is in R3, so you can write this is only S comma T comma 0, where the third coordinate is 0 because this is only the combination of U1 U2. So S comma T comma 0 such that S comma T belongs to R. Okay. Similarly, another example is given in your note. You can study this thing. Then come to a theorem. What I have given in your note, that was theorem. So what is its statement? Let T be a linear. I will say this from your note. So what is the theorem? Okay, so this is your theorem. Let T be a linear operator on a finite dimensional vector space V, and let W be a T invariant subspace of V. Then the characteristic polynomial of TW divides the characteristic polynomial of T. Since T is a linear operator, you are able to find the matrix associated with T. Similarly, W is a T invariant subspace of V, and similarly, you can also find the matrix associated with TW. Then you can find its characteristic polynomial. Then, if you will check that, then you will get the characteristic polynomial of TW divides the characteristic polynomial of T, because this W is a subspace of V. So if the corresponding matrix you will get, then after that matrix, then you will check that the characteristic polynomial of TW divides the characteristic polynomial of T. Now the proof is here. So choose the order basis gamma which is containing element V1, V2 up to Vk for W. Since W is a subspace of V, so first I am taking the basis element of W. Let it be the set containing gamma, which is V1, V2 dot dot Vk. This is the order basis for W. Similarly, since W is a subspace of V, so we can extend the order basis to a basis for V. Now extend it. Now extend gamma. स्वराज गौड़ एतलू टाइम हो so now extend gamma to a basis for V. Let it be beta which is v1 v2 dot dot then vk plus 1 comma dot dot vn. So this is a ordered basis for v. So let A is the matrix associated with the transformation T with respect to ordered basis beta, and B1 this is the matrix associated with TW with respect to this ordered basis gamma. That means the corresponding matrix we already got here. This is your A for the transformation T, and this is the B1 which is the corresponding matrix for the T invariant subspace W. So if we will write this A, so you will got here this one, this will be in this form. Whatever the B1, this B1 is there, and there are something, let it be B2, and there are something, let it be B3. So if you will do a problem, then you will get how, or you will know clearly how we are getting this thing. So if you will write the corresponding matrix associated with this transformation T, this will be this one. Then if the matrix is this one, then you can find the corresponding characteristic polynomial. Let f of t be the characteristic polynomial of t and gt be the characteristic polynomial of tw. Then your ft will be, this is the characteristic polynomial of a, then this thing can be written as ft is the determinant of a minus tin. Tin means n stands for the identity matrix of order n. So determinant of a minus tin, which is the determinant of whatever the a is here, then you just subtract t from the diagonal element, or this tin, and since b1 is a matrix of order, okay, because w is a vector space of dimension k, since its basis element as k element, basis set as k elements. So whatever the corresponding matrix associated with this tw, this is your b1. So this is a dimension k. So that's why I have written, since this is a matrix, so I have written b1 minus tik, and for this one it is already b3 is here, so this is b3 minus tin minus k, because k is here and n minus k is here, so the total order of the matrix is n. This is n minus k, and this one is k. So that's the matrix. This is a matrix of order n cross n. So a determinant of this one, you know how to find the determinant of a matrix. Just product of this one into this one minus b2 into this one. So b2 into this one will be 0. So only product of this one into this one, and this one is your gt, because I am saying that b1 is the matrix associated with tw, and gt is the characteristic polynomial of tw. So b1 minus tik, this is in place of this one. Other determinant of this one is your gt, that is the characteristic polynomial of beta b1, that is the tw's characteristic polynomial. So and this one is your determinant of this one, let it be whatever it be, this is a polynomial, let it be qt. So whatever it be, so now your f of t can be written as g of t into some polynomial in t, let it be qt. So f of t can be written as gt into qt. So I can say that gt divides f of t, because f of t can be written as gt into something. So thus we can say gt divides f of t. So if I will go to a problem how gt divides f of t, and then this is a given problem. So what is given here? T is a linear operator on R4. So if T is a linear operator on R4, and T of ABCD is given here, and T of ABCD is your A plus B plus 2 minus D, comma B plus D, comma 2C minus D, comma C plus D. So this is a transformation from R4 to R4. This is a linear operator on R4, and W is a subspace of R4, and defineness of W is T comma S comma 0 0. That means this is just a XY plane. Suppose this is not XYZ. This is your XY plane where the first coordinate and second coordinate is only exist, and the third and fourth coordinates are 0. So this is T comma S comma 0 0, such that T comma real number, but the third and fourth coordinates are 0. So clearly W is a subset of R4. Now according to our transformation, it is you can easily say that W is a T invariant subspace of R4. So if W is this one, where the third and fourth coordinates are 0, then if it can easily say that T is a invariant W is a T invariant subspace of R4, because if you will take the transformation of any element of W, that is 0, then what will be its transformation? See, T of ABCD goes to this thing, so it is in place of C and D you will put 0, so this will be in the second net. Only B is there because D is 0. Net 2C plus D, both C and D are 0, so 2C minus D is 0. Again this is C plus D, C and D are 0, so this is 0. So which belongs to W, because C comma 0 is an element of W, and its transformation, this is belongs to W because it's third and fourth. So we can say that this W is a T invariant. So this thing, okay, you can verify it. So now what I will do, since your W is a T invariant, subspace, so I can take its standard order basis. Let E1 E2 be the standard order basis for W. Now extend this gamma to a standard order basis beta for R4. That means we are taking gamma equal to E1 E2, the standard order basis for W, and we can extend it like E1 E2 is given, then we will add E3 E4, which will be standard basis for R4. Since W is a subspace of R4, so we can extend its basis to a basis of R4. So if I will say your B1 is the matrix associated with the transformation T W with respect to its basis element beta, and I am saying A is the matrix associated with the transformation T with respect to beta, then what will be my B1 matrix associated with TW with respect to gamma? This is your this one. So can you get this thing? The transformation T associated with this subspace W with respect to this basis gamma, this is your beta 1, and your beta 1 is this thing. Say what is the transformation of U1? A transformation of U1, transformation of U1 means transformation of 1 0 0 0, because this gamma what we are taking, these are the elements of W, it's okay, but these are coming from R4. So your U1 will be this one. So what will be your transformation of U1? So if you will see, your transformation of ABCD is this one. So what will be your transformation of U1? So in place of A you will put 1 and in place of B, C, D you will put 0. So transformation of U1 will be, here is a, so this will be 1 and there is no A, so this will be 0. Similarly there is no A, there is no A, so this is 0 0. Similarly T of A2, this is T of 0 1 0 0. So in place of B you will put only 1, so there is a B, so you will put here 1 and there is also a B, B plus D. In place of B you will put 1, in place of D you will put 0, so this will be 1 1 and rest are 0 0 because there is no B. On in place of CD we are putting 0, so this is, here are the coming 1 0 and 1 1. So our B1 matrix is, we have to write this thing in a column vector, so 1 0 and this one is your 1 1 and the rest are 0, but we are not writing here, that's why in the previous proof the corresponding matrix A associated with this one, we are taking this one is B1 0 0 because B1 is your like this 1 0 and 1 1 and the column below this one are zeros, or the entries below this one are 0. Like this thing I am writing only 1 0 and 1 1 and the entries below these things are 0 0. So your B1 matrix is 1 0 1 1 and what will be the matrix A? Similarly like your E1 E2, like your E1, for this one we are getting 1 1 0 0. The A1 matrix is 1 1 0 0, here this one, and T of E2 is 1 1 0 0 1 1 0 0, this is your 1 1 0 0. Similarly if you will calculate T of E3 and T of E4, you will get these two column vectors. So this is your, you will do this thing, this will be your 2 0 2 1 minus 1 1 minus 1 1. So this is your matrix A and this is your matrix B1. So if you will find the corresponding f of t, means the corresponding characteristic polynomial for t, then you will get your f of t. F of t is the characteristic polynomial of this matrix T or this matrix A, and gt be the characteristic polynomial of tw. Then what will be your f of t? F of t will be your determinant of A minus ti4, because this is a matrix of order 4 cross 4, so this is the determinant of A minus ti4. That means from its diagonal element I will subtract t, so this will be, this is your A, so from each diagonal element you will subtract t, so this will be this thing. And if you will make a partition, this will be like this one, and here these elements are zeros, so it is easy to find the determinant of this thing. This will be the determinant of this one. That means we are making a partition or making some blocks, so this will be the determinant of this one into determinant of this one, then minus determinant of this one into determinant of this one. Since this one's determinant is 0, so determinant of this one into this one is 0, so only determinant of this one and determinant of this one is there, determinant of this one and determinant of this one, only the diagonal determinants will be there, and this determinant is your g of t. This determinant is your g of t, because this thing comes from the matrix B1, these things. are from B1 matrix, and B1 is the TW of gamma. So this is the corresponding characteristic polynomial, and whatever be this one, this is any polynomial of t. That means we can write f of t is equal to g of t into some polynomial. So we can say that this gt divides f of t, because f of t can be written as g of t into something, so we can say that g of t divides f of t. So this was an example. Then see another theorem. We will not prove it, but you just see the statement which will help you to prove the next theorem. So let T be a linear operator on a finite dimensional vector space V, and let W denote T cyclic subspace of V generated by a non-zero vector small v belongs to capital V. So what is given here? T is a linear operator. T is a linear operator on V. V is a finite dimensional vector space. V is a finite dimensional vector space, and T is a linear operator on it, and small v is any element from capital V, and let W be the T cyclic subspace of small v. T cyclic subspace of small v, and k is the dimension of W. We know already T cyclic subspace, since it is a subspace, so it has some dimension, and suppose V is a dimension, this dimension is not given, okay, whatever may be, and always since W is a subspace of V, so dimension of W is also finite, let it be k. So since its dimension is k, so its basis element have only a k number of element. So what is saying, if its dimension is k, then these are the basis elements of W. What are these? V, T V, T square V, dot dot up to T k minus 1 of V. These are k number of elements, so this is the basis for W. And what is saying in second point, if a naught V plus a1 tv plus dot dot up to a k minus 1 tk minus 1 of V plus tkv is equal to 0. So if this thing is linear combination of this one is equal to 0, then the characteristic polynomial of tw is this f of t, which is equal to, that means if w is given this thing and dimension of w equal to k, then in the first point it is saying these are the basis element of w, and in the second point it is saying what is the characteristic polynomial of tw. So what is the characteristic polynomial of tw? So if 0 is written in this way, like a naught v plus a1 into transformation of v plus dot dot up to a k minus 1 into t k minus 1 v plus t k v equal to 0, then the characteristic polynomial of tw can be written as minus 1 to the power k into this a naught plus a1t plus a2t square. That means in place of a capital T, will put small v, sorry, in small t. So this will be here minus 1 to the power k into a naught plus a1t plus a2t square dot dot plus a k plus 1 tk plus 1 plus t to the power k. I will not prove it, and you have to remember this one. Then now we'll study the Cayley-Hamilton theorem, or in the next class we will study. Okay, let it be on the next class. So you remember these things, and the next class we will study what will be our Cayley-Hamilton theorem. Okay, today is only this much.